First and Now is brought to you by World Vision Canada, national charity partner of the BC Lions. Visit bclions.com/worldvision to become a supporter 2025. Just like that. The holiday break flew by just like that. And it is our season premiere of First and Now. Season 4 of doing this, I believe, right?
Yeah, year 4, season 4, call it whatever you want. But I think you can put break in like quotations too, because lines were active over the break.
Yeah, my phone was ringing quite frequently, which is great. It's kind of a different off season. New GM, new head coach with that, a new coaching staff, which we'll talk about. And Happy New Year, if it's not too late to say that.
No, I'll say Happy New Year. I'll echo that.
See what Larry David has to say. But yes, great to be back podcasting, and we're full go here. 2024, 70th year, biggest year ever. That's all in the rearview mirror. It is all about 2025. There probably will be a schedule released perhaps by the time you listen to this. It's a little unclear right now. But we weren't just going to sit around and keep waiting for a schedule to be finalized. We want to talk BC Lions football, and that we're going to do. Nikki, where do we start?
Well, yeah, where do we start? Trades, re-signings, additions, all of that. But you want to start with the big trade we had over the offseason? Because I think this is a sneaky, massive deal, in my opinion.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah. And maybe that's why it doesn't get that pedigree, but big deal.
Yeah, I mentioned I was getting frequent updates from various people in the organization, and was given a nice heads up first week of January that we were going to pull off a trade for Dejon Allen, a 4-time East All-Star or All-CFL, whatever you want to call it these days. All-CFL, might as well keep it current. 4 times in the East, 3 times in the East, 2-time league-wide, shall we say. Ryder Varga and a 2026 Round 2 selection going to the Argonauts. So, at first glance, maybe a steep price to pay, but you have to give up something to get a player of this caliber, and they've upgraded the O-line for sure.
Well, people in the know will tell you that Dejon Allen is the best pass blocker in the CFL right now. So that's, we can't understate the importance of that, and especially this offense. This team is going to be built around Nathan Rourke, your cornerstone quarterback, and
that's it.
What do you do to first protect your quarterback? Or it's kind of like that meme you saw. Remember Penei Sewell and Jamar Chase, where it was, what do the Bengals do? Do they have Joe Burrow get protected by Penei Sewell and throw to anybody, or do they have Joe Burrow try to throw Jamar Chase but get hit because he's not protected? Well, clearly the Lions are going that second route or the first route, because you got Jarrell Broxton on the left side. Left tackle you can build around. Now you got Dejon Allen on the right side. We'll see what this means for the rest of offensive line. Kent Perkins is a pending free agent. The interior is still kind of yet to be determined of this offensive line. But your left tackle, your right tackle are in place, and Nathan Rourke's in place, and off we go. And it is unfortunate too to lose a guy like Ryder Varga.
For sure.
We've sung his praises on the show many times, that stat sheet stuffer that I like to kind of refer to him as, kind of doing everything around the field, making plays everywhere. But, Ryder's going to be on to bigger and better things in Toronto. And, it's kind of almost like that win-win, right? 2 teams kind of fulfilling their needs.
Yeah, and there will be some other dominoes to fall, so to speak. When you look at the interior of this offensive line, Suk Chung is a pending free agent. Michael Couture in the middle, pending free agent. Was kind of a revolving door at left guard too, right? David Neville among those who is not signed as of now. Andrew Pearson, same thing. So
Chris Slugger,
yes, of course. So you can do the math, and you might be inclined to think that there might be some more additions in free agency. The CFL draft, always a wild card when it comes to building your Canadian content up front, but Ryan Rigmaiden, Rob Ralph, Neil McAvoy, clearly looking to build this a certain way. And I think, you said it, this is important. If the expectation is that Nathan Rourke is going to be more like the 2022 version than the one we saw in the back half of 2024, then it's a no-brainer.
100%. And that just, it started off the year on a good note, and you have that foundation built. And that's ultimately what you want to start with when you're trying to build a championship caliber team.
So there you go. Dejon Allen, looking forward to seeing him as we get closer and closer to preparing for training camp. Again, it's all about looking forward now, not looking back. all kinds of transactions. Sean Whyte is back. That was a no-brainer. A 1-year deal for Whitey. Is this the year he gets that special teams hardware? Back-to-back nominees in the West. He's eyeing a much bigger trophy, and he talks about that in Arrow Up Home Turf, which will officially launch on Monday, January the 20th. But Sean Whyte just gets better with age.
Yeah, and he's reaching some accomplishments, right? I feel like every year we're talking about different accolades for Sean Whyte, back-to-back West Division most outstanding special teams player, but he's 9 points behind Terry Baker, no relation to Matt Baker, for 10th all-time in CFL scoring, so that's very exciting.
I used to tell people I was, too.
Hey, not bad,
yeah, I'm Terry Baker's cousin. Why do I have to stand in line at this joint? Come on.
But yeah, Sean's recently coming off 2,000 career points. That's and again, he's gonna be in the top 10 this season. The crazy thing is, for context, Louis Pasaglia is 9 points shy of 4,000. So I don't know if first is in Sean's sights. Maybe we'll see. He says he wants to play another decade or so. That would probably get him there, but
yeah. Well, he's got to go to at least age 46, right? That's what Louis went to. Yeah,
goes without saying, having Sean Whyte back is a good thing for this organization. It's a good thing for our stress levels, because there is nobody you're more confident in when he goes out there that he's going to make the field goal, right? He objectively is the best kicker ever in CFL history in terms of percentage. So there you have it.
Let's focus on a couple of the defensive guys here. We'll kind of go in and out of order based on what we've prepared. But speaking of milestones, Garry Peters, now 8th in all-time tackles for the BC Lions. He signed a 1-year extension earlier in the week. And again, maybe he was he robbed of another all-CFL selection? Might have been. You know it's going to fuel him.
It's the Richard Sherman treatment.
Yeah. There you go.
No stats because you don't get thrown.
Because you don't get thrown to. But he was the Lions nominee for most outstanding defensive player. So maybe that speaks for something. But yeah, Ryan Rigmaiden said it in the announcement. He said it best. He says, "This is the identity we want with our defense, the guys who approach it the way Garry approaches it." So leadership, intensity, all the intangibles, speed, athleticism, all of that. No-brainer to get him done before the legal tampering window opens early next month.
Oh yeah, we've talked about how Garry is the best cover guy in the CFL. I think that's very easy to say. Just look at his track record. But even in his highlight tape that we put out, it's not just cover. He's a run stopper too. He's not afraid to get his nose dirty and come up. And we always talk about him being locked down. So I had to get a stat ready. I went to PFF because I had to find some data to back this up. So last season, 23 defensive backs, excluding safeties, played over 500 snaps last season. Garry Peters had the fewest target of all those DBs. He had 42 targets. Trey Roberson and Devondrick Bynum in Edmonton are the only two guys under 50, along with Garry. But just for reference, guys like Benji Franklin had 125 targets. DeAndre Lamont on Ottawa, 102. Tyrell Ford, 101. So yeah, Gary's probably not going to get those 10 interceptions that Tyrell Ford gets, because Tyrell Ford is seeing 101 targets compared to Gary's 42. So that's where the stats comes into play and all of that.
Right.
But Garry Peters is the one true lockdown corner in the CFL right now. And, that's what we're banking on for another season here. It's great to have him back. How's that for singing his praises?
Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. And, this defense, there might be some moving parts. We're going to talk to Josh Woods a bit later on as he recovers from his knee injury. Linebackers, probably a couple of more dominoes on the defensive line. Maybe, we shall see. We'll have a lot of those answers in about a month from now. Free agency period opens on February 11th. The legal tampering window about a week before that. But sticking with guys who have re-upped so far, and again, this can change any minute by the time you're listening to this, but as we record this on a Wednesday, Tibo Debaillie made history, the first ever global touchdown, fumble return week 1 in Toronto, part of that crazy second quarter. But this is a guy who's been steady, consistent, and really more than just a feel-good story because he's part of the global initiative. This is a guy who's been a rotational piece, who's fit in. He can stop the run, keeps guys keeps guys free to rush the passer, so to speak. Guys like Matthew Betts, Sione Tuhema have been coming off the edge. Happy to see Tibo back.
Yeah, Tibo's one of those guys that his passport doesn't matter to why he's getting in the lineup, right? Like the coaching staff these past couple seasons have found a role for him because they need it to. He's one of those guys too. I think if for a running back and you get hit by him, you feel it because he has a presence and he lays out. Not even just running backs, quarterbacks too. He had some. I know he had a couple hits in a couple Winnipeg games last year that I was like, wow. Just flattening quarterbacks and all that. So he's great to have back. Great in the locker room too. One of the funnier guys. Keeps morale high for sure. So welcoming Tibo back. That's awesome.
Riley Pickett is someone who has played defensive line in his career, made the switch to long snapping, got some reps in at fullback when David Mackey was injured. The Sask Army knife.
I love that.
Yeah. He re-signed for 2025 as well. Become a good guy in the locker room as well.
Yeah, and this is another one that I'd classify as a sneaky important signing. In Arrow Up, you'll see special teams coach, or last year's special teams coach, Mike Benavides, talk about, the Kyle Nelson came in as the long snapper this season, but both Mike Benavides and Sean Whyte, who were pretty important people in the special teams operation, made sure that Riley Pickett was still on the roster as the short snapper, which is the field goal snapper. And Benavides and Whyte, they'll say that nobody's better at it than Pickett right now. And it shows, right? Sean Whyte's success kind of shows through that, right? So, and he's just an animal too, right? Gets active on teams still. He's one of the, he uses gloves to snap, but then he takes off his gloves to go play special teams, right? So, or other way around, sorry, he takes his gloves off to snap. So he's one of those guys where it's 2 downs. So you have to take your gloves off, run on the field and all of that. So he's just happy to, have any role. And that's been made clear the last 3 seasons, going from, defensive lineman to fullback to long snapper, short snapper, all of that. So great guy to have back. Sask Army knife. You need the Sasky boys too, right? You have to have a couple of them. Oh,
you have to. That's important glue in the room right there. And field goal kicking, it takes a unit. The snap, the hold has to be good, and we're better for that, having Riley Pickett in the fold. Perhaps some outsiders might view this one as a bit of a surprise, but when you consider Ryan Rigmaiden first signed this player back in 2021, it would have been James Butler, all on the same day. James Butler signing a 1-year deal, 1,000-yard season with the Lions in 2022. He parlayed that into a big free agent contract with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And as a result, William Stanback was released to sign with the Ottawa Red Blacks. So thanks to Will, first of all, a great guy here. On the field speaks for itself, but just a terrific individual off of it. And I'm glad he went to the East Division. For a couple of reasons, but thrilled for him, and we wish him the best going forward. But we're thrilled that James Butler is coming home. This is a running back who is multi-dimensional. He can catch out of the backfield. They love him as a blocker. So if you're not going to have Stanback back here, you better have a pretty good plan in place, and James Butler's pretty solid in that regard.
No, 100%. We talked earlier about, having this cornerstone or your foundation in piece with Nathan Rourke and your offensive tackles. James Butler is one of those guys too, right? The way Nathan Rourke plays, likes to use his running backs in the passing game. We saw that in 2022, like you said, with JB breaking out. And it's a bittersweet day, obviously, seeing Will Stanback depart because of this transaction. But, it's part of the business, and to have James back is awesome. He's really close with the guys on the team. I remember that was my first year of 2022, and that's something I picked up was that, how James was definitely in all these cliques. He was part of everything, right? He could fit in with anybody. And I mean, even looking back at that Hamilton game last year where we kind of took 2 of them with Justin McInnes and Alex Hollins and all of that, James Butler was still a force for the Tiger Cats. I think he caught like a 50-yard touchdown. It was a wheeler out there, I remember. So he's effective in the passing game. A bruiser. Go check out the highlights we attached to the signing graphic, because it almost was a reminder to me that, like, wow, James Butler was a special player in 2022. And I mean, he's been damn good in Hamilton too. So that's gladly our gain.
Hey, when I watch highlights of that Hamilton game, you know what it stands out? That jersey matchup ended up being outstanding.
I don't know about outstanding, but it caught more flack than it should have.
Yeah, like remember when we first found out that Hamilton was wearing their retros, and we're like, oh, this is going to be fog gray against those. But I thought it was sharp.
Black would have been worse for us.
Yes, absolutely. Because remember that was talked about, maybe we should declare that we're going to wear our black, but that would have been, a lot worse.
Yeah, so. I don't think it was outstanding, but I don't think it was bad. So I'm kind of with you.
I'm going outstanding. Anyway, I do like those hammer jerseys, regardless of who they're.
Oh yeah,
it's a sharp.
I love the gray. It's really growing on me here too. The fog
retro look. Yes. Speaking of running backs, the highlight reel in Jacksonville, Nathan Rourke and Kadri Olesen, and this is very exciting. Everyone remembers that Nathan Rourke scramble touchdown pass. I believe it was his first NFL touchdown pass. Jacksonville at Dallas. Remember, we played it on the scoreboard as we were taking it to the Calgary Stampeders and VA, and everyone just went nuts. And now Kadri Olesen, who has a pretty impressive resume outside of that, was a standout at Pitt, Rookie of the Year in the ACC, and drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, played a handful of games. So running back competition won't be a bad thing.
I know you always need people in camp, right? And like you said, a bit of a pedigree to him. Dallas Cowboys too had a stint there, so can't go wrong picking up guys that were in Jerry World, right? And it's just a fascinating angle that he came back after, or him and Nathan are kind of reunited after that crazy play that made them go viral, right? So nice to have him here. And I know there's been a lot of other signings. Ryan Rigman is doing his job down south. I think maybe we'll save all of those probably for a different episode coming in the spring, right? We have some stuff to talk about, maybe do a bit of a deeper dive in all these other guys that we've been picking up, but it's exciting, right? You see that notification on Instagram seeing BC Lions sign 4 players, and it's like, who's going to be the next, diamond in the rough, right? There's always a couple. We always talk about it. So we'll give those guys their due diligence. And
we're always, when we sign these American players who are coming to the CFL for the first time, it's kind of hard to dress a lot of these guys up, but this was all the more reason
of course, yeah.
And it's gotten some pretty good play so far. All right, before we get to Josh Woods, and later on we will get to Go For It or Punt, They Not Like Us, a very NFL-heavy edition of those. Of the year, but I wouldn't have it any other way. We'll maybe talk some more NFL playoffs, just a couple of fascinating matchups in the divisional round. But the first press release of the year that went out was 8 new additions. Well, not all new additions, a couple of returnees, but 8 appointments, let's say. Of titles, yes, of Buck Pierce's 2025 coaching staff. As expected, Mike Benavides staying on as defensive coordinator. Corey McDermott, a veteran special teams coordinator, will hold that title here. Buck bringing Kevin Burgoyne as a wide receivers coach and passing game coordinator. Paul Charbonneau, another veteran in the trade, will coach the offensive line. Ryan Phillips, great to see, staying in the fold as the secondary coach and the defensive game passing coordinator. Randy Melvin, love this, just an absolute tactician. John Bowman departing for Calgary left a big hole on that side of things, but Randy is back for a third stint. This is a guy who has a Super Bowl ring with New England back in 2001.
There we go.
Glenn Young will coach the linebackers, has experience there in Hamilton, was defensive coordinator in Toronto and a bunch of other stops. Derek Oswalt staying around as an assistant. We will be expected to name a running back coach here at some point, but overall, a lot of experience on this coaching staff, Nicky.
Yeah, and really liking the blend in this, couple guys coming back, and Benavides and Phillips, but then Buck Pierce really handcrafted this staff, right? And Kevin Burgoyne's a guy that really sticks out to me, right? Because obviously I don't think the average fan knows a lot about their receivers, coaches of other teams, especially if you're a Lions fan, but you just hear the name wide receivers coach, passing game coordinator coming from Winnipeg, and you think Zach Collaros, Kenny Lawler, Dalton Schoen, Nick Dembski, all these guys that Buck and Kevin kind of built together, right? And the offense that has been to 5 straight Grey Cups, and to have these guys as a duo, I mean, I'm excited to thinking about it, right? To see what they can do in training camp and so forth. So, and then like you mentioned, the experience throughout the staff too. It's nice, and we'll be able to form relationships, form trust with all these guys, and looking forward to that.
Yeah, exciting times indeed. Signings, re-signings, trades, coaching staff, and happy to see Rick Campbell land back in Ottawa too. Yeah. That was a bit of a pleasant surprise, I would say, but maybe not so much when you consider his relationship not only with that organization, but with head coach Bob Dice.
Yeah, and then special goodbye to Travis Brown going to Saskatchewan, Jordan Maximic, Jason Tucker, Tristan Dice all over to Edmonton. So all of our coaches, finding homes, and it's again part of the business. But it's a new era. Buck Pierce.
How was your holiday break, by the way? You went to Winnipeg?
Yeah, unfortunately, as Moj and others would say, I went back home to Winnipeg, but I loved it, man. I went ice fishing one day. It was
no way.
It was minus 30 out. It hurt your face to just be outside.
Where do you go for ice fishing?
Lake Winnipeg, kind of like an hour north. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's popular out there too. It looks like a whole other world when you're on the lake. It's pretty crazy.
Now, Dom, is it the same lake you go swimming in the summer? It's just frozen in the winter?
Yeah. There's the Grand Beach is kind of the beach that's nearby, and people have cabins everywhere, and it's a popular public beach in the summer, and then it turns into a lake in the winter. We did not do good ice fishing too. It was kind of funny, but I subbed in for a beer league hockey game that night too, so kind of made the most of it. Yeah, I saw my Nashville Predators get shut out by the Jets because the Jets are a wagon right now. I know the Canucks are feeling that effect after last night's game.
The Canucks got Winnipegged this week.
Yeah. Winnipeg just keeps getting better and better.
Were the Canucks staying at the Viscount Gort or something? What the hell happened?
The way they played, maybe that would make sense. But
I know we're not supposed to do inside jokes, but anyway.
Look it up and you'll see it. And then the fire alarm's going off an hour before we leave. Don't think that's coincidence, but
yeah.
Anyways,
leave 2023 and 2023.
Yeah, you can probably guess what Winnipeg game we're referencing just by talking about this. What happened in that game? But yeah, I know good trip overall. It was hot not hot, but it was warmer when I got out there. It was kind of like 0 degrees, kind of like this weather. It's crazy right now. The sun's out today. It's like +8. It's crazy.
I went for some fresh air earlier, and it's not even jacket weather in the afternoon.
We are so lucky to be in Vancouver. I tell as many people that as I can, and
as long as it's dry. Yes.
Even if you want to if you want to live here year round too, for your BC Lions player, it's totally doable. It's the best city. Guys, Justin McInnes is around here year round now. Like Patrice Rene, all these guys, they're around here year round because Vancouver is just that awesome.
Yeah, love it. And I enjoyed myself. Stayed in town, didn't really go anywhere. A lot of family time. A lot of junk foods.
Likewise.
A lot of new toys.
Do you have like a favorite holiday treat? I know we kind of did our favorites last time, but my mom goes pretty crazy with the baking.
I still get a stocking. I don't know about you. Like my parents, my mom, Santa, I guess. Get that Terry's chocolate orange.
Yeah, that's a staple.
Always at Christmas.
Yeah.
The Lindors, always solid. My brother-in-law, my wife's brother, got us like a little gift bag with a bunch of treats, and it had some of those. It had like the caramel corn, very, very good.
Yeah, the popcorn, yeah,
that's
solid.
So
I'm big into those sugar cookies right now, like a nice sugar cookie with a lot of icing on it. I'm big into those right now.
You've seen me pick away at it. Someone left a little bag of those Ghirardelli squares.
Oh, okay, I got it. And I didn't know that's what they were. I got to
take one. It's the mint flavor, the mint chocolate, very good.
I think it was Michelle from finance.
Okay,
yeah.
Makes sense.
I believe she came in and dropped them off. But yeah, I'm going to get into that after this.
The finance department gets all the treats as they should. They're taking care of us. So
paying us, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Josh Woods. We're going to talk to Josh in Los Angeles. Kind of get an update on the pulse down there. Very devastating situation with the fires and everything. He's not right there, but he's close enough to be affected. Knows people. And we'll talk football, we'll talk NCAA, talk about his UCLA podcast. A little bit of a potpourri with Josh Woods on our season premiere of First and Now, presented by World Vision Canada. And off we go to Southern California right now, Loma Linda to be precise, BC Lions linebacker Josh Woods. Good enough to join us here. Josh, Happy New Year, if it's not too late to say it. Nick and I were kicking that around earlier. It's never really too late to say it if it's your first time talking to someone, but good of you to be with us.
Yeah, Happy New Year, man. It is, first time talking on 2025, and I hope this is a great year for all of us.
That's the goal for everyone, indeed. And we're going to talk football. We're going to talk UCLA, your podcast, a little college football playoff, everything, but obviously very difficult times right now for many folks in your area. First off, it's great to see that you're okay and well, but How can you comprehend what's gone on with the fires down there in the Los Angeles area, and how many people do you know that have been greatly affected, Josh?
I mean, talked to you guys before. It's really unreal just seeing the devastation and just the catastrophe that, I mean, happened. Um, I don't have anybody like directly in my family that were affected, but friends having to, evacuate, or family of friends, houses gone completely in, I mean, Palisades and in Altadena. And now I actually have former teammates and some of my like close friends that are firefighters, that were working front line, and just talking to them through this process of, how it's going, updates, and, they want to keep working and trying to keep doing their best that they can to, end it and contain it. So, you know, it's really sad. And it doesn't even seem, like I said, it doesn't even seem real. And there's a lot of, help that needs to happen, and funds that need, for people to really restart their lives. Like, they lost everything in their houses. And like I said, it doesn't seem real. And I don't think anybody could have imagined something like this could have happened to this capacity of, losing complete neighborhoods, gone, wiped out. And yeah, LA, needs prayers. I appreciate everybody that's reached out to me, because, from Canada, it's like, you hear that I'm from kind of LA, you think like I might be directly in it. I'm a good distance away. But it was definitely scary just seeing, like, I know people that had to, like I said, evacuate their homes, but, I think they should be good.
Any other messages you want to spread with your various platforms with this, Josh?
I mean, if you can donate. I mean, try to find organizations that are helping people directly. Like, I know, my church is trying to help families directly, but there's some good things going, especially for the area of Altadena, because it's a predominantly African-American neighborhood and area. I feel like, they need a lot of help. So I know there's a lot of things going out from Pasadena to help them. So if you can, and then again, with, prayers and your thoughts, man.
Let's check in with you in the off season, because unfortunately, the last time we saw you on the football field was, the end of June there, and suffered a torn ACL. But sometimes I feel like it's like people got to remind people, like, we have Josh Woods coming back for 2025. It's exciting for me, but how's that progress coming for the comeback?
It's coming along, getting after every day. I think I've, a great team and like a staff around me between, the rehab clinic that I'm going to and my trainer, just working together and, trying to get me back to doing what I love to do. I mean, that's the goal for everybody. We're getting after it, making good progress. So yeah, hopefully I'll be ready to go by game 1 in June. But yeah, it's crazy because the season started. I love the way it was starting, and then it just abruptly ended for me. So
I did run into you at the 2024 Grey Cup, actually, and something I wanted to bring up was, I remember after I saw your Instagram story where you just took a photo of the game, and the caption was, "I get it now." So was that kind of like it was your first Grey Cup you attended, but was that kind of the moment where you realized like how big this game is and like how crucial it is and important it is for this franchise to, strive to get there?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to a Grey Cup, haven't played, of course. And I wanted to see what it felt like to be, around it, the energy there, being there all week, meeting such great fans across the league, and seeing how it's like, like a party for Canada, really, of like, people everywhere. And then there's the meme, Lethal Shooter, the "I understand it now," where he misses the first one. He says, "I understand now," and he makes the next one. So my goal is with that, I was there, I understand it now, and next year we're going to be in it in Winnipeg. But yeah, I just wanted to see what that energy was like. I said it's the last one I'm attending as a fan, like as a player not playing in it. And just seeing, the energy and having friends playing in it, I'm like, man, I want to play in one of those games and like see what that, what that really feels like. So that's the goal every year, and that's our goal this year.
Man, we've really got started along with retaining guys, bringing in former players. I'm alluding to James Butler. I know that's one of your boys. He's back here, but guys like Matthew Betts are back. Garry Peters just re-signed. Tibo, like, does it excite you to that training camp? It's not too far away, but does that seeing all these re-signings and moves that excites you? I'm guessing for the 2025 season.
Yeah, I mean, Betts is one of the first people I kind of talked to at the end of the year of like, please come back. Like, I feel like there's two people I feel like I let down personally and wanted to play with, and that was VA and Betts. I was like, me being out there, I feel like I could help them and they would help me. You know what I'm saying? Just the chemistry, leadership with VA, and then with Betts just playing. Me and him always had a chemistry, and when we were playing together, different things, it just worked because his effort, my thought and safety behind him. So he was one of the guys I'm like, please, like, I know you want the money. I know other people are pulling you these other ways. Please come back. Tibo, another guy I talk to all the time. Like GP, I've been asking for weeks, like, what's going on? Like, what are you hearing? And then to get JB back, who's one of my, closest friends in this league, a guy that is really, like I said, one of my best friends, one of my brothers, and somebody that I love to compete and play with. Man, I can't wait to be back in camp just with the boys and getting after it. I really like, what we're doing and excited to see what moves more, hopefully Justin signs soon. I seen, on Twitter that talks about the deal getting close. Hopefully we get Just back and then see the moves that we make in free agency.
Mike Benavides is going to coordinate this defense. And I love what Buck Pierce said in Lions head coach. I'll fill it in here. He was asked in his media availability in Charlotte about RP being, demoted, for lack of a better term. I don't like to use that word. And Buck just said, hey, it's icing on the cake that we get to keep RP in some capacity. What can you say, Josh, about Benny running the defense and the fact you have another guy you've been very familiar with, RP, staying in the fold?
I think that was huge. For me personally, that's one of the things I was talking to Ben about, is having coaches that like know me, especially coming off an injury, just knowing what I'm capable of and knowing my play style, having somebody that's familiar with my game so I don't have to, in a way, kind of rush myself back to prove to people I don't know how I can play. So I think that was big. And I think, it's big to have two guys, in the room with, DC experience that, have two different angles as well. I mean, Coach Benny's going to bring that serious, that attention to detail, and RP's going to bring that energy. I think, I'm excited to see, how we build this thing up. But I think, like I said, it was great to have some, a few guys back that, know what guys are capable of, with the young core that we have. I think that was really important. So, and you can't get rid of RP, man. He is BC Lions. Like, he is, Mr. Vancouver. That's, anywhere we walk around in the city, people are going to recognize RP. He knows somebody, any place you go, you know what I'm saying? So I'm so glad that we kept him and excited for the staff.
Indeed. You couldn't have said it better myself about both those men, definitely bleeding orange and black. Hey, you first signed on here in 2021. We all remember it was kind of that weird year back from COVID, and I think you came, was it an October game against Calgary? Was your debut at home, I think. Was Ryan Rigmaiden, how involved was he in recruiting you and getting you here originally, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, Riggs was my point of contact. He was the first guy to reach out and talk to my agent and work the deal. So, I mean, he's the reason I came to the BC Lions, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. Excited for him as well to, have that full role of GM and the talent that he's going to bring in.
Josh, you're one of the guys I enjoy following on social media, catching up with you, seeing what you're getting up to. But scrolling through your Twitter recently, and you've been getting in the podcast game too, right? You're doing the Believe in UCLA podcast with James Williams, I believe, is your co-host. Just talk about that and, kind of what prompted you to talk some college football about your alma mater.
Yeah, so initially I had a podcast. I feel that with some of my frat brothers from college, we started during COVID and kind of fell off after a year. And then I get a message from James, like the Believe Network wants to do a UCLA podcast. And I thought about you doing it. And now we're going on year 3. And I love it because it keeps me involved in the UCLA football community to the point where, I get to still talk to my former teammates. I get to talk to, other Bruins coaches. Recruits try to send their highlight tapes to me thinking that, I have it in for them to get into UCLA. And of course, I watch every game. So it's already like, I love college football. I get to watch it. And, I've hinted at, when I'm done probably playing in BC that I'll be headed there to start coaching. So it's fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's been a crazy college season too. I know we got the Natty coming up on Monday. Who you going, Buckeyes or Fighting Irish?
I'm going Notre Dame. I love Coach Freeman. He kind of like a role model to me because a Black Asian coach. That's like I want to be him when I grow up, and I love his energy and the way he's there for his players and the way their defense plays. So. That's who I'm going for. I know Ohio State is loaded. They have our former head coach as the offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly, and he's been putting on a clinic. And it's going to be a tough, good game, but I want Notre Dame to win.
That's awesome. What do you think of the UNC and Bill Belichick stuff? Like, we talked to Patrice about that even. Like, it's pretty crazy that he's gone there, right, Bill?
The craziest thing of all the college football for me now is like NIL and recruiting. It's like so much happens like week to week. There was a time where like we had so many people enter the portal, and then the next week we usually had like the top 4 transfer portal recruit class, and it's like it's so much going on. And for I would say kind of the older generation of coaches, I know it's one of the reasons why Chip Kelly kind of went to be a coordinator instead of being the head coach because he didn't want to have to deal with all the recruiting, all the NIL talks. He just wanted to coach ball. And you see it. That's why Saban stopped. That's why a lot of older coaches across the country have kind of stepped down because they don't want to deal with the whole paying players and transfer portal people coming in and out. So I don't really know how it's going to work. They just hired my boy, Armand Hawkins, to be their safety or their corners coach, and he's a hell of a recruiter. Spent time at SC, Colorado, Arizona, and just previously at Washington. So I want them to do good because now he's a part of their staff. But I don't know how it's gonna work because the way these kids are, man, if like things aren't going the way they want within even the first 3 weeks of the season, they might redshirt and hit the portal. So I don't know how Belichick's gonna handle it, especially after I've talked to. When I had my workout with the Patriots last year, talking about boys that were part of the organization and talking about the culture and the way that they handle stuff over there, I don't think college guys will be into that really. So I got to see the way he adapts to, these kids these days.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be an adjustment, Bill, in college, but he seems all in. Like, you see him tweeting videos now, being out recruiting, and he's got his son with him.
They got GMs now. Michael Lombardi's his freaking GM at UNC now. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. G. Roy Simon, the GM at his alma mater, Maryland. Congrats, G. Roy. Hey, while we're on the college football topic, other than your home venue, the Rose Bowl, what other stadiums did you love playing at in the NCAA, Josh?
I would say Texas A&M, hands down. The way it's built, the environment, the fans, just that's the loudest place I've ever played. That thing gets rocking. They get the students, active the whole game. So yeah, definitely.
The Saturday afternoon there in is it College Station or no? Sorry, what? Yeah,
I think you got it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, College Station. I get that and Baylor mixed up. Baylor's Waco. So That'd be the prime event that day. Hey, all kinds of speculation. Deion Sanders may be going to Dallas. I don't know if you've paid attention to that. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, from what he said prior, there's like the reason why I want to coach in college and why he was coaching in college. He wants to develop men, and like once you get to the the pro level, it's kind of guys kind of want to do their own thing, I feel like, and you're not as hands-on, I would say. And he has a really great setup in Colorado. I mean, facilities are phenomenal. I know that, Boulder loves him. But I mean, his sons are moving on, so I kind of understand. But I would love to see him stay in Colorado a little longer.
Yeah, going from full control to having to deal with Jerry Jones, I don't know. It'd be entertaining.
Hey, Josh, one last question from me on the college note. Somebody told me to ask you about the time you wore an Oregon jersey. Do you remember that?
The time I wore an Oregon jersey?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a if UCLA's playing your school, I will ride or die for UCLA. So whatever that bet entails, it is what it is.
Yeah, number 25.
That was at the end of my recruiting, it was UCLA and Oregon were my top two schools that ultimately I chose UCLA, and I know I didn't make a mistake.
That's awesome. Hey, I know you're a big music guy. I know always up to date with the latest trends and all that, but what do you got in your rotation right now? What can we expect to be kind of hearing in training camp here? GNX or anything else that's in your rotation right now?
To be honest, not that much GNX, man. More SZA than Kendrick.
Okay.
But I mean, Morgan Wallen, that's been heavy in the rotation. He's been dropping some gems, man. I feel like he'll have an album out before training camp. So it also depends on like what's going to be out in 4 months, like what's going to drop. But it's going to have a little hip hop, a little R&B, and some country vibes going to be coming to the locker room. So if I get on the aux, I feel like I can make everybody happy because I got a little bit of everything. So,
no Rod Wave lately?
Honestly, I listen to Rod Wave, but that's more so. I feel like I was around Lucky Whitehead and Don Rhymes so much, like that's all I heard.
That's all.
That kind of when I wasn't around them, I would never listen to it anymore. Like I love Rod Wave, but it was just a little too much. Like I got to have a rotation of different sounds. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I associate Rod Wave with like 2022, 2023, and I'm kind of like I'm kind of fading him out a little bit too, unfortunately. But
if you were in the facility at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m., it was probably going to be Rod Wave playing. So
airplane, everything, right?
Yeah.
Josh, hey, this has been outstanding. We've missed you a lot. The final 2/3, I suppose it was, of last season, and we look forward to tracking your progress. And again, stay safe to you and your family in Southern California. Scary times indeed, but always appreciate you answering the bell.
Yes, sir. I want to do it big this year, man. Go Lions.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Josh. See ya in May, I guess.
Thanks to Josh Woods for joining us, and a very well-rounded conversation. And we should say, World Vision Canada, of course, our proud first and now sponsor. But you can head to worldvision.org to find some information and frequently asked questions on how to donate to the victims of the Los Angeles fires. So there you have it, worldvision.org/disaster relief news stories, California fires facts. That's a long URL, but we encourage, if people were going to do any donation, to do it that way. All right, tough transition, but wish him the best, and we look forward to seeing how his recovery comes full circle. Maybe he's a future Arrow Up topic. Maybe.
I'd be down for that.
What else can we say about Arrow Up right now, Nikki? We've got home turf launching next week.
Yeah, we publicly went out on Monday this past Monday that Arrow Up home turf will be launching on Monday, January 20th. And we're doing it a little different this season. And purposely went to this past season with this plan of following 3 players around. And we talked about this last episode of First and Now, but those 3 players are now revealed to be Sean Whyte, TJ Lee, and David Mackey. fascinating stories for all three of them. On and off the field, wives are involved, TJ's kids are involved. Lots of, just content. It's not just about football, because like the way we were kind of thinking about this is they're not football players, they're humans. Too. They have lives. So you get to see, what makes these people go, and what the challenges they have to overcome, not just on the football field, but off of it too. So 2 episodes at a time. That's something that's going to be a little different too. But January 20th, episode 1 and 2, January 27th, episode 3 and 4, and then wrapping up on February 3rd with episode 5 and episode 6. So 3 weeks worth of content. We've been grinding away at this. It's been pretty much a full-time job at this point. Liam, myself, and our marketing team now is fully inclined in this, but it's super exciting to come out. Shout out to Sean, TJ, and David too, their wives, Brittany, Joanne, Rana, all great to work with, and really excited for everybody to see this.
Yeah, very well done. And you've got some exposure in the media.
Yeah.
Surrey leader, Tom Zilich. There you go. People are noticing.
Got to get you to pull some strings, right?
Always. Donnie and Dolly, thanks to the guys there for always supporting us.
And everybody that's been
everybody,
it,
not just them. A lot of people on social media. It's too many to name. But
yeah, it's been great. It's been great though. So I appreciate that.
Excellent. All right. Arrow Up Home Turf. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel on Monday, the 20th for episode 1. I've seen it. It is fantastic. And we look forward to doing more and more of that as 2025 goes on. What will the 2025 story to tell? Hopefully it has a very happy ending. But for now, we're going to transition into Go For It or Punt, and Nick will lead us off.
And this is something I have beaten the drum of pretty much since I came out of the womb, is that what I am going for here is that the MOP is better than the MVP in terms of the award category. I cannot stand this MVP talk right now in the NFL is driving me crazy because it's most valuable player. And right now, a lot of people, it's obviously Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, which is awesome that they're meeting this week in the playoffs. But right now, the case for Josh Allen is he's the MVP, he's the most valuable player. But I think Lamar's had the best season period this season. If you just look at the stats, I think if you watch it too, Lamar's doing crazy stuff, which would make him the MOP, the most outstanding player. So I think the CFL does this right, where it's outstanding and not valuable. You can kind of throw that off to the side, although maybe sometimes, in my opinion, the media doesn't do that up here in Canada, 2023, cough, cough. But I think, it's better to have the most outstanding player instead of the most valuable player, because you just want the best player to win the league's best award.
A lot of voters, you're right, in any of these other leagues, they miss the point. MVP stands for most valuable player, which means it's the player most valuable to his team, right?
Yeah.
And listen, the best thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers completely blowing it the last month of the season was that Baltimore took advantage.
Yeah.
And you knew we were going to get Buffalo and Baltimore probably in the divisional round, unless one of those teams choked in the wild card. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm clearing my schedule. Sunday, 3:30 Pacific, right? Is the Ravens and the Bills. I love both these players, but
same.
I'm more of a Josh Allen guy with this debate. I mean, you can argue Buffalo doesn't have as good a defense, right?
But now we're talking value.
He doesn't talk. Yeah, he doesn't have Derrick Henry. I mean, Cook in the backfield's been pretty good. But
there's a clip last week, though, where Lamar, 3 linebackers go to him and he gives it to Henry, and that's why Henry has that 50-yard touchdown run.
The Bills went 2-0 against Kansas City and Detroit, whereas the rest of the league went 2-30 against those teams. Although Baltimore did beat Buffalo in the regular season, did they not?
Not beat them, they smoked them. They smoked them.
Yeah.
35-10, I think it was.
Josh Allen, was he playing defense? No. But hey, listen, I hope this game lives up to the hype.
It should, yeah.
And I really hope the winner has enough gas in the tank to potentially go into Kansas City, unless you think the Houston Texans are capable of an upset.
That defense might be.
Yeah, it's going to be close. I mean, the Chiefs haven't scored 30 points all year, so
yeah. They're my upset.
It's going to be close.
If there's going to be any upset this week, it's Houston, in my opinion. Because Baltimore, Buffalo's a toss-up.
Right.
So,
the divisional weekend, I know this is going to be said 100 times this week, but it's true. It is the best week of the playoffs, right? The championship games, sometimes you get a little more conservative. Sometimes you get the odd blowout. So buckle up, as they say. And the Eagles and the Rams. I mean, who would have thought the NFC West champion?
Not you.
Not me, no.
I saw that.
Yeah. I said that on November 24th when it doesn't look like, then the Rams beat Buffalo, and you're like, okay, maybe I'm an idiot. So there you go. All kinds of juicy matchups. Okay, for going forward, we'll take a brief break here from the NFL.
Sounds good.
Christmas holidays, I try to watch something. This disclaimer on Apple TV, outstanding. Limited series, 7 episodes. They move fast. Very good. Can be tough to watch at times. I won't get into the premise of it too much, but it's one of those shows where there's a lot of events that happen in the past and it goes back and forth. There's kind of 3 different stories. Kate Blanchett is the main character. Sacha Baron Cohen.
Well, Borat?
Yeah. plays a very different character.
Nice, I like that.
It took me like about half an hour in, and I'm like, that's Sacha Baron Cohen. So if you're looking for something to watch, go for Disclaimer.
I started Landman over the break.
Oh, I've heard good things.
Yeah. I'm not done it yet, but it's very, very promising. So that's a bonus goal for me.
All right.
TV out.
Excellent. Okay, punting. Back to the NFL, apparently.
Man, so the other week here we were talking about my Colts and that big game against Denver, and they blew it. And then this week they're showing all the graphics of all the division winners. And man, I'm punting this graphic I saw because I couldn't believe it. But the AFC South, the Colts haven't won it since 2014. And I don't know what's going on with them right now. There's this drama.
That was the Deflategate AFC Championship.
Yeah, and there's this drama with Pat McAfee now.
Well, what's the drama with him? I didn't.
Well, he pretty much just shredded the organization for its culture and all the missteps they've been taking, and apparently they're kind of giving him a bit of a shadow ban. And there was this clip of Zaire Franklin. His suite was empty the last regular season game, so Zaire Franklin went up to it. He was shaking all the hands of fans, and then he went up to the empty suite and started shaking the empty ghosts, I guess, of Pat McAfee and his buddies. So. Yeah, it's sad times right now. I like my Anthony Richardson, but we gotta get this thing rolling in Indy.
What was the graphic? That they hadn't won it since?
Yeah, it hit me. It hit me.
Yeah.
The Colts have been punting a lot, I guess, because they haven't been winning no divisions. In 2014, I didn't realize that, and it's sad.
A lot of ugly streaks, like the Commanders get that win in Tampa, and then you realize, that franchise hadn't won a playoff game since 2005.
Yeah, you hear that, Vancouver? It's tough to win playoff games.
Yeah.
I appreciate them.
Well, and hey, all my Niner fan friends who act like, we have it so tough right now because we can't win a Super Bowl in 30 years. Well, some franchises go that long without any playoff success.
Playing in them, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel for you. NFC West plays the AFC South next year. The Niners go to Indianapolis.
I hear what you're putting down.
So you might have to
we'll get something in
have a bet. Because remember, it will have been 4 years since the last meeting in the rain at Levi's Stadium. Carson Wentz. Yeah, Sunday night game, was it not?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo. Gotta love it. All right, here's what I'm punting, sticking with the NFL. Every year, it seems, you get to the last couple of weeks and all the playoff clinching scenarios, there's always someone or some people that say, oh, if this team could sneak in, they're going to be tough. They're going to be a handful. The Chiefs don't want to play these guys if it comes to that. Well, this year, that team was the Cincinnati Bengals. And yeah, sure, okay, they had injuries. Again, Niner fan, no sympathy for other teams' injuries. No one feels sorry for anyone, right? So, no, if the Cincinnati Bengals were worthy of that title of being that team no one wants to face, they wouldn't have finished 9-8.
Yeah.
Get rid of that.
There's a lot of discourse about Hamilton this year, right? This past CFL season with that, whereas, just wait till the Tiger Cats get in the playoffs, they can take down the Alouettes. But it's like the pre-Labor Day games matter.
Yeah.
Season does not start at Labor Day.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest punts ever on this thing is, the season starts at Labor Day. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got to earn it.
Yeah.
So I'm with you there.
Yeah, the wins in July and August, I'm pretty sure they mean just as much, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, they not like us. More NFL. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm going right back to the NFL, right back to the well. But the Rams defensive front is my delay not like us because on Monday they just popped off for 9 sacks. Jared Verse, that rookie DN, they got as a monster. And then you got Canadian Neville Gallimore also with a sack and a half against the Vikings in their playoff win. Actually, I turned on my TV when I got home on Monday night and who else but Farhan Lalji?
Yeah, I was going to say, the real reward of his night was he got to
exactly
talk to Farhan Lalji. Isn't that trumps everything?
It was funny too. I kind of teased Farhan on Twitter about this week, but yeah, he was doing his hit with Jay Onrait, and he's sitting in like a sweet chair in State Farm Stadium in Arizona. So Farhan doing it big. Love to see it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why they not like us. The Rams D front, those guys are monsters. Neville Gallimore, really cool to see Canadian athletes succeed. You know, we saw Nathan try it out, but a lot of guys do it, and it's cool to see them succeed.
That was impressive. I know everyone wants to rip Sam Darnold, and rightfully so, but they
try
it. they got to protect him, right? Yeah. That was, a bad offensive line will kill you when it matters the most. So, all right, they not like us. To wrap it up, Andy Reid off a bye, 21-4 as an NFL head coach, and that's bad news for the Houston Texans. I don't want to say Kansas City gets a break playing Houston because it's the NFL, it's pro football, anything can happen, but
they earned
don't want to say that. Yeah, don't want to say it. A three-peat looking more and more likely when you really break this down, because again, the winner of Buffalo and Baltimore, how much are they going to have left? Hopefully enough in the tank, but let's not discount the Houston Texans at all, like we were saying. It was a team many thought would take a bigger step and not just be a 4 seed this year, but
yeah,
Andy Reid coming off a bye, that's money in the bank if you're a gambler. So
yeah, and I think up in Canada it was Dave Dickinson that had
same thing.
Yeah, crazy record off the bye. I don't know about these last 2-3 years here, but with Calgary back in the day, if you caught them off a bye, you knew you were in trouble.
Yeah.
Do you think we catch them off a bye this year?
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out soon, maybe. Hey,
I don't know. Might see him in preseason. I don't know.
Well, odds are that. I don't think we're going to Montreal for preseason.
No,
I'd be down though for the record.
Process of elimination. If a CFL schedule does drop this week, head to bclions.com if you're listening to this podcast late. 2025 season premiere. We know for a fact the next time we record we'll likely be breaking down a schedule, and it's great to be back in the swing of things.
Yeah, it feels like we picked up where we left off, and really excited to get this thing rolling. Arrow Up Home Turf, remember that, January 20th.
Yes, YouTube, bclions.com, all of our social channels. Be sure to subscribe, rate, leave a review on this podcast, and support your BC Lions. Season tickets, flex packs, all of that. Be there in 2025. bclions.com has all of your ticketing needs. First and now, a presentation of World Vision Canada. Until next time.